Hi, everyone. I'm Katherine Schlegel. I'm an intuitive healer. And for those of you who don't know what that is, I do a lot of work with subconscious healing and clearing emotions from the body and the subconscious, reprogramming belief systems and things like that. And I also teach quite a bit on topics like quantum physics and spirituality and healing related to like emotional, mental, physical healing. And today I'm joining my friend Fatima, and we're going to be talking about fabrics and clothing and how that affects our physical and energetic bodies. Fatima, tell us a little bit about what you do.
Hi, I am a toxic-free lifestyle coach. Um, I teach women how to lower their toxic exposure so that they can live a more vibrant life. And
Yes,
yeah,
awesome.
so let's get on to our topic, fabrics. As we all know, fast fashion is very wasteful and it's very, how should I say it, destructive to the environment and even to your bodies because it's full of either petroleum based products or full of pesticides and insecticides when it comes to conventional cotton. So, conventional cotton producers spend almost 2.6 billion dollars on in chemicals for pesticides and insecticides. That's a big percentage for from for their production for the whole world. So when you wear something like that, and you're literally exposing yourself to the pesticides and the insecticides, and on top of that, the dyes that they use for the colors can also be mutagenic and carcinogenic.
Wow.
So we should go for natural fibers,
Mhm.
which they've had studies where it's healing and the frequencies are alive.
Yeah, that's something I was going to talk about. In my work, it was something I came across just intuitively. And I was like muscle testing about it. And I got, like no's to everything except for like linen, wool, and organic cotton. And I actually had a question for you regarding organic cotton versus conventional cotton. I know that the pesticides are in the conventional cotton, and do those like wash out over time, or are those always present, like affecting the body?
I am not 100% sure about the answer for that, but just like with organic or conventional produce, they say you can wash it off if you can't afford organic. I'm sure there's ways for the pesticides on the fabric to wash out eventually, but I mean, initially when you're wearing it, would you really want to get exposed to that? And then the way they produce that cotton to turn it into fabric is very dirty. Like they use so much chemicals, so much water, and it goes to the waterways. There's no closed loop system for that. So you're not only hurting Mother Earth, you're also hurting yourself. Plus, the workers that do the harvesting and taking care of these cotton fields are exposed to all those chemicals.
Yeah. Well, I know when I was muscle testing that even like something that had been washed many, many, many times, I was still getting a no to it. So I
Yeah.
was like, huh, I wonder if somehow it's still affecting you, or something is up with it. Um, and when I started researching that, I did come across a study that they had measured the frequencies of different fabrics. And in that study, they were saying that the human body is at about an average of 100 for their frequency,
Yeah.
and that anything below 100 in fabric was taxing to the human body. And so things like synthetic fibers, polyester, and also silk, interestingly,
Right.
um, was at 15, so like significantly lower.
Yeah.
Um, Conventional cotton was at 70, and organic cotton was at 100. And then linen and wool at 5,000. And so I was really surprised to see how much higher linen and wool was, because I was noticing when I was putting on linen or wool, like it would feel so like energetically like peaceful and like nice on my body. Um, and so I
Right.
thought that was just really interesting that the frequency was so much higher than organic cotton at 100.
I've noticed that too with linen. I bought myself a linen, what is it, head cover, but it's kind of, they call it a beanie, but it's not really thick enough to be a beanie, but I'll wear it when I'm sleeping so that my hair is not, because you know how postpartum our hair falls out. And I didn't want my baby to choke on my long hair. So I was keeping my head wrapped, and I would just always wake up refreshed, no headaches or anything like that. And even sometimes my hands would have muscle pain or joint pain, and I got myself linen gloves and I would wear it while sleeping, and significantly the next day it would just feel like so good, no
Wow.
stiffness or anything like that.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow. That's I noticed a similar thing. I switched my bedding like a couple years ago to like linen and wool bedding, and like such a huge difference compared to, I think I had like bamboo
Yeah.
before, like a conventional mattress. And when I made the switch, like it's so peaceful, like energetically getting into bed now. I just love it.
And it's less, I also noticed we used to use organic cotton for sheets, but when I switched to linen, I didn't feel as hot even. Like it's just
I've no, yeah,
temperature
I've no
temperature
too.
regulating fabric.
Hmm.
Yeah.
And something about it too, like the texture just sort of like sits off your body. I'm
Yeah,
like
they
not sure.
reflect to you, I
It's
think.
like not quite as like heavy. I don't know. It's
Yeah.
really cool. And it's nice that it gets like softer over time too.
Yeah, for sure. The more you wash it, and just to make sure that you don't put it, do you put yours in the dryer? I do, but on low.
Yeah, I do on low with the
I
wool
still have
dryer.
to set up my clothesline.
Oh yeah, doing it in the sun. Yeah, that would be
Yeah,
better.
the birds will poop on it.
Oh, I didn't think of that. I
Yeah,
think also just like the connection to nature with fabrics that came from nature rather than like man-made fabrics, whether we're wearing it or sleeping on it.
yeah,
Um, I just think that's like visually and energetically so balancing to the body, because like that's like, I think how we're supposed to live organically anyways, like connected to nature, in harmony with nature. Um,
yeah.
so I think that's another like energetic aspect. Go ahead, go ahead.
No, because you know how people also wonder why there was a time when bamboo was, like, oh, the new clean or sustainable fabric and all that stuff. And I think what they were doing was, yeah, bamboo is sustainable because it grows fast, but they don't even talk about how the bamboo is changed into fabric, and people don't realize that it's very dirty. They use a lot of chemicals. There is a clean way to do it, but it's pretty expensive, and we know that those big corporations go after the profits, so they don't even want to invest in processing it clean, and they want it fast. So
That makes sense. And I didn't know that, but I did muscle test like no to bamboo and tencel too,
yeah,
which if you're shopping at a store that has the natural fibers, they'll often include bamboo or tencel, and they'll mix it with natural fibers. And so
yeah.
when I see that, I'm like, oh no. Like,
Oh, me too. I don't like it when I'm, like, oh, wool, and then you look at the material, it has nylon, or
mhm.
why can't it just be 100% nylon? Oh no, wool.
Right. I know. In socks, it's like almost
Oh yeah,
impossible.
socks is hard. Yeah, the socks is hard. That's why I'm just like, if I found 100% wool socks, but I think they just don't have that stretch, and a lot of people don't like it. And I think that they, sometimes you forget and you put it in the dryer and then they shrink.
Mm-hmm.
So to me, socks is kind of like I can deal with it. You're not wearing it 24/7 anyways.
True.
It's it's hard to find 100% wool socks for sure.
Yeah, I do try to like just avoid wearing socks in general. And here in Texas, that's pretty easy because I feel like 90% of the year I'm wearing sandals.
Yeah.
And when we're cold, like now it's like 50 degrees and we're freezing here in Texas, I'll just wear like sheepskin boots and then
Yeah, exactly.
you don't
And
really
you
need
don't have
socks.
to wear socks. I know. And that's what I have. My boots have sheepskin lining for the winter time, and that's what I've been buying for the kids. But my husband's always like, "Why aren't they wearing socks?"
But you don't
I'm
need
like,
to with
"Good, you don't need
sheepskin.
to." And
Yeah,
a lot of the socks, they're not anatomically correct for our toes, so they pinch your toes. You know,
right.
and we've been trying to do the barefoot thing and all that stuff. So
Huge into that. Yeah, that could be like a whole nother video.
yeah, yeah, I know. It's it's amazing just how it's the industrialization really just made us forget about how we should be living naturally, or how we should be living. The
Hmm.
clothes, it's not like if we were back in the day, how could you make fabric out of plastic? Or that's the one
I,
another thing about all these sustainable, eco-friendly brands too, when they're doing the recycled plastic. And
I
I'm like,
know.
but that is not healthy. It's
No.
just the microplastics. It's just you're you're still trying. I thought that the end goal would be to get rid of plastic altogether, when you're just recycling it and making it into fabric and making it a thing, and then it's super expensive still. It's not
Hmm.
sustainable, and you're still making the corporations think that it's okay to keep producing plastic.
Yeah.
So,
Plus, like, plastic is just like the worst for temperature regulating. It's so hot and
yeah,
like, no, like, that's what I love about linen and wool too. Like, it's so temperature regulating.
yeah, and you can wear it year round.
Hmm.
People think that wool is gets hot in the summer. I mean, it maybe depends. Not super. There's some wool that won't be so hot in the summertime.
Like the thinner wool can work, but like here, once you're over
Oh yeah,
90, like,
you can't do that there. It's too humid.
yeah, then you just switch to linen.
Yeah. And so right now is my challenge is not so much right now in the winter time, but looking for true natural fabric bathing suits. That's one thing.
Oh,
That's
oh
the hardest
yeah.
thing to find,
I
right?
I've seen them at like, do you know the brand Doan?
No, I
They
haven't.
do a lot of organic cotton. They're kind of
Okay.
expensive. And they did bikinis in organic cotton, like poplin. It wasn't stretch.
Oh, nice.
I think they did some like crochet or knit swimsuits too. It's
Well,
like not something I would wear. But if
right.
you had like a really good body and you didn't mind a tiny bikini, there was some organic cotton ones there.
No, I just remembered. I actually found one. I got it's a the website called Smallable. They're out of Europe, but it's mostly for my kid. So in the summertime, I was looking for organic cotton bathing suits for her, and they had some, but obviously it has some spandex or late, yeah, spandex to give the stretch. But yeah, and then I found some hemp one, but I'm not sure about hemp anymore. I haven't really dove deep again about how they process it to make it into fabric.
Okay, good
Yeah,
to know.
and then it's also, and then she uses hemp that's grown in China, and I've asked her personally why she chose China, and she said just the affordability of it. But
Mm.
yeah,
Okay. Yeah, I know. For bathing suits, I was kind of thinking, well, I guess I'll just like wear a t-shirt and leggings or something. I don't know.
or
And
just
then I won't
wear it
burn.
for a few hours.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's just some things that we just have to compromise with, I guess.
Hmm. Do you want to talk about where people can find natural fibers in clothing? Because I know that can be kind of a hang up for people. And I know there is sometimes the affordability factor as
Yeah,
well.
true. The affordable. So what I usually do myself is I sign up for the store's newsletters, and then you get discount codes and
Mhm.
whatnot. And then the secondhand shops like Poshmark.
Yes, I've had a lot of success with Poshmark.
Okay,
Like
that's good to know.
Eileen Fisher, she has a lot of linen.
Yeah.
Um, Ralph Lauren has a lot of linen. And then Etsy too. That's not
Etsy.
as affordable, but Etsy has so many of the um like makers, particularly in like Eastern Europe, like
Yeah.
Lithuania,
Because
Bulgaria.
that's
They do.
where I think a lot of the linen, the flax is grown there. And
Mhm.
so then you know that it's also milled there. Like
Yeah, and it's
they do mill in China now, but then that's such a big carbon footprint. Grown in Europe, milled
mm,
in China, shipped back to Europe,
oh yeah,
right?
I didn't
And
think of
so
that. Yeah.
before, I was really so like, oh, I only want made in the USA, like especially with the clothes for the kids. But then I also realized that a lot of the organic, especially for organic cotton, a lot of it is grown in India anyways. And so a lot of these stores have them made in India just so that it's just all right there. So Pack
Mhm.
is made in India and they're
Okay.
grown in India. And then for babies, I like Under the Nile. Have you heard of that brand?
Yes, I've heard of that one.
Yeah, I love their stuff and I love their rugs because they use the scraps from making the clothes and weave it into rugs.
Oh,
Yeah,
awesome.
it's really awesome. Yeah,
That's cool.
yeah. And then what I can't think of I really also mostly go through Etsy for linen especially because I
Mhm.
anything that's handmade is very you know that it's well made, it will last longer. So I think I look at it as an investment.
Oh
And
yeah,
I'm
me too.
not trying to have a big wardrobe, rather
Right.
I can say the word. But so with kids, oh, we have 10 minutes left. With kids, I stick with organic cotton because they grow so fast. And then I have a few linen pieces for them right now, which I'm slowly going to add more as they get older because
Okay.
they just, especially my 3-year-old, he just
I
rips
know.
holes on his pants. I'm like looking at him and his pants are now shorts because he made a rip on the knee.
I know kids, it's like a whole other like ball game because they're
Yeah.
growing so fast and it's so expensive. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Yeah. I
You
kind
love
of support organic cotton for the
yeah,
kids.
for sure. Cause plus I know H&M is fast fashion, but back in the day that's what I used to buy for my first child. And I still have pants from him that my fourth child is wearing.
Oh
So
wow.
yeah.
That was good.
So I'm like, it's okay if it was fast fashion. That was before I knew better. I got a lot of these. You know, he's gonna turn 10 next year, so that's 10 years. So
Yeah, awesome.
so I,
Yeah,
you
I
know,
mean, I don't mind, especially like fast fashion secondhand.
yeah, secondhand because you're still, you know, not throwing it away and it's still getting reused. You're giving it a second life, which is good. What I just don't, what I don't find nice or, you know, is when you keep buying new clothes because you're keeping up with the trends. And then
Right.
that's really making the companies produce so much more. And then people don't realize there's so much waste that the fashion industry produces.
Mm-hmm. I
Where,
know.
yeah. And no one's, I mean, sometimes they like highlight it in the news or whatever, and then people get mad about it. And then when it's gone, people forget, you know?
I know. It's like they're just it's all the time. There's so much they throw at people and you can't
Yeah.
stay mad about everything all the time.
Oh, yeah, I know. Because you don't want to be stressed out all the time.
Hmm.
You just have to control what you can control.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I mean, the more people that become aware of it and vote with their dollars, supporting slow fashion or ethical fashion, um, I think hopefully it will grow.
Me too. And then hopefully as there's more demand, it will be more affordable, just the price point. Because I really know that a lot of people, that's what's holding them back from making switch because of the price point. When you're looking at, let's say, one brand I like to buy clothes from for the kids, their onesies, let's say, is $22, and then when you know one from Target or even H&M, it's like $5.99. So
Yeah. Yeah. One way I've worked around that is secondhand
yeah,
and keeping a pretty like capsule wardrobe. Um, so for those of you who don't know, I used to work as an image consultant and I did color analysis and image analysis. So like I would drape people to see what colors looked most flattering on their skin tones. And also I had a service about the styles and cuts of clothing that are like most flattering for your body type and facial features. Um, and I think knowing that really helps with creating a capsule wardrobe.
yeah,
And like you were dark autumn, right?
yeah,
And a gamine.
yeah,
So and like I'm a winter, so like brighter jewel tones and things like that. Um, have really helped with keeping it more minimal. And then
mhm,
also those natural fibers tend to be better quality clothing that just last and last. So you don't need to spend maybe as much as people tend to think
yeah,
in
yeah.
building a wardrobe.
And as long as especially, your colors and the cuts that's flattering, then you don't have to keep like testing it. Hopefully, where you buy, you can return it. Yeah, but I
Right. That
think
way you don't end up like buying something and then it like sits in your closet for years because when you wear it, you're like, oh, there's
yeah,
something
it
not right
doesn't.
about this
Yeah,
after all.
I
Yeah.
know. That's why you're gonna be shopping for me.
Oh yeah. So yeah, I still do that a little bit on the side, but
Because
mostly this intuitive work has taken over.
yeah, which is a
And that's
beautiful
actually,
thing.
oh yes, it's I mean, I love color analysis and image consulting because it really does help people like, and I think there's all this like junk in the beauty industry where it's like you have to buy things to look beautiful, you have to change your hair color, and you have to buy all this makeup, and you have to just buy all this stuff and change how you look. But like that system was all about no, it's not you, it's just the wrong color and it's just the wrong shape of the clothes that you're wearing, and you
Right.
are perfect and beautiful just as God created you. You just need to wear the colors that harmonize with your own coloring.
Yeah.
And like speaking of colors,
Yeah.
another thing I was muscle testing on, or something that came to me intuitively, was that like our bodies have color preferences that they want to wear. And I was muscle testing and um I used like a color picker in Canva. I just sort of
Yeah.
like asked my body like, okay, show me the colors you want to wear. Um and I thought that was really interesting, like the colors that came up. And I started looking into like color therapy and chromotherapy because I was thinking, well, colors all have a frequency.
Yeah.
Um
True.
and the different frequencies of different colors have different like healing properties. And like this went back even to ancient Egypt. In ancient Egypt, they were using color therapy, and throughout history, they've used it like colored glass solariums that the sun would shine through, and you would get the healing properties from whatever the color of the glass was. But it even applies to the clothes you're wearing.
Yeah.
Um, and so far, I haven't like done a whole lot of testing with this yet, but it seems like so far
You're onto
the
something.
colors the body is choosing. I have such a small sample size for this so far, but I would like to like look into it some more.
Yeah.
The colors the body is choosing seem to be in line with the season. So I was like, oh, that, I mean, like that makes
It makes
sense,
sense.
right? Like
Yeah.
if it's harmonizing with your own coloring, then that's probably harmonizing to the body as well. And
Yeah.
I don't know, that just
I
makes
guess
sense.
it's, if you think about it, let's say I look crappy in orange, like a certain tone of orange looks bad on me. And then one time back in the day when I used to do trade shows for American Apparel, they put me in an orange shirt, and it was just so like, oh my God, that even one of the guys was like, no. And I was like, I know, I don't even like orange.
But you're wearing orange today.
It's like a redwood, it's like a different tone.
I know. I'm
Like
just
it's like a reddish, like earthy redwood kind. I know. It was like a bright
like
orange. They put
safety cone orange.
yeah.
Okay. Okay. Hi, everyone. Our previous recording got cut off in the middle of our conversation. So we're back now on another day to finish up this video. And I'm here with Fatima again, and she's got her baby with her. Hey,
Hi,
Fatima.
Catherine. How are you?
Good. And at the end of our video, we were talking about color and how the frequencies of color can also affect our bodies, and how our bodies even have preferences for the colors we wear. And actually, since we recorded that video, because that was several months ago now,
Yeah.
I've spoken to another intuitive friend, and she also so the way I found the colors that my body liked, I just pulled up the color picker like in Canva, and then I like clicked around and just like felt in my body which ones felt like a yes or like a no. And
Yeah.
I did use muscle testing for this, but my friend didn't. And so she did the same thing. So I was like, I need people to like beta test this for me. Like, is this a thing? And she was like, yeah,
I'll do
I can
it.
totally feel. She was like, I could totally feel which ones like in my body were like, yes, and which ones were like no's. So
That's amazing.
that's another thing for people to, I don't know, be aware of when they're choosing their clothes based on how their body feels about the frequency and the energy of it.
Yeah, for sure. And I'm sure that, different colors have different frequencies, higher, lower. But I'll definitely want to try that out too, although I still suck at muscle testing right now. But
Yeah,
I'm trying to hone in and listen to my sacral response. And I
yeah.
know that's going to take practice.
No, that's awesome. So Fatima's getting really into human design right now, right?
Yeah. Going crazy over it.
Oh, it's the best. It's so enlightening. Oh, hi, bud.
It's like, I need something down there. Hang on, buddy.
So yeah, I would say don't worry about muscle testing. Just try to maybe feel it in your body. Like what's feeling good and what are you feeling like no's to?
Yeah, I'll do that because I have Canva, so I'll just try.
Okay, yes, and report back.
Yeah. What colors is your body drawn to?
So it was like a very bright royal purple, like blurple almost. Periwinkle, teal, and aqua, like very bright.
Yeah.
Cool, very cool versions of those colors.
Yeah.
And like magenta. Those were like the top ones. And and like a fuchsia too.
Nice.
So those are kind of like the only colors I've been wearing for the most part. Yeah. And when I've been buying things.
Can you tell a difference? Like
I can. I've kind of always been able to tell a difference with colors. I even remember as a child, like I never wanted things I owned or any of like, my notebooks or pencils to be like certain colors. And I always flocked to those colors. So it's really interesting to me that the ones that came up are kind of the ones I've always liked.
Yeah.
So,
and then have you looked up like what frequencies those colors are, or?
Yeah, I did start looking into that a little bit. A lot of the information I found on it talks about them more in like hues, so green. But when I
Okay.
think about green, like there's like hundreds and probably thousands of different shades of green. But green, it's all about, growth, and it can be
Yeah.
connected to love and healing and things of this nature. So that was really interesting to delve into. But I didn't find like the breakdown of the shades, which maybe hasn't been done yet, or maybe it's just not very mainstream.
Right. You have to really probably go to like page 500 of your search or something.
Or maybe I'll do that someday. I don't know.
But that's good. That's good to know, so that at least when you're buying your wardrobe, especially when you're, switching out from the synthetic fabrics, then you're able to save, money when you're finding things that, will look good and feel good.
Yeah, definitely. So I feel like we've just about covered everything we were going to talk about for this video. Was there anything else that's coming to your mind before we conclude?
No, I don't think so right now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well,
I think we cover the basis and then some.
Well, if anyone who watches this has further questions, maybe we can jump on and talk some more about it another time. But
yeah,
for now, okay, awesome. For now, thank you so much, Fatima. This was a lot of fun. And bye, everyone.
See you.